So this is not going to be the first time we've taken a look at the Miyoo Mini Plus, but this company, MechDIY, who sells, little emulation handhelds, sent me a little case here. They said this is their new version that comes with Onion OS ready to go. So I wanted to check this out, but okay, we got a little case here. Very nice. Kind of cool when they send you a case with these things, but they sent this to me for purpose of review to take a look at, and that's what we're gonna do here. So you get some overlays. It looks like, I wanna say this has 128 gigabyte Onion OS build pre-installed. We'll find out in a second, but here's the manual. And then I believe they do have a couple different colors of this thing. This is a very popular handheld. Got some nice heft to it. I almost dropped it. It ain't that heavy. Just got butterfingers right now. I like the way the shoulder buttons are. I mean, how else are you gonna do it on a handheld like this? But I like how the L2 and R2 is raised a bit. And yeah, looks like right out of the butt, the micro SD card is popping out. 128 gigabyte setup in there. So we'll check that out in a moment. Make sure that's firmly in there. A little battery, Miyoo branded battery. Cool. So there's that. Let's get the little screen thing off. It does come with the tempered glass screen protector, a USB-C charge cable, and then a little micro USB adapter for your PC to load games or manipulate things to your heart's content. But let's power this thing on. Power button up top. So obviously, this is a little handheld, no analog sticks, just face buttons, D-pad, and then those shoulder buttons on the back. This is going to be good for, plenty of things. Your Game Boy, your retro 8 and 16-bit games. But beyond that, I don't know. I mean, you're not going to be doing like Nintendo 64, too much like that. So let's take a look. Games, bunch of different consoles here. Got PlayStation 1. There's plenty of PlayStation 1 games you could play without analog sticks. If you recall, PS1 did not come with a controller with analog sticks until later on in its life. So I did notice in the game section, there's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection, but when you click on it, it just goes to the ROM list. So I think that was just the collection that wasn't set up or something. But I did start messing around with everything. I cut the video for a moment and started checking some things out. But once you go into each system, all the games are listed nicely. Tells you the game count at the bottom. Everything has like a little snapshot of the game on the corner there. It's clean, simple, gets the job done. Onion OS is a nice little OS for a handheld like this, I think. But we'll test out some games in a moment, but let's see the other options. So Expert, you have access to a few other emulators. Apps, you got some basic stuff, File Explorer, you can go into RetroArch, things like that. And then we have settings. You could change the brightness, Wi-Fi, display options, menu sound, just some basic stuff. But the one thing that's cool with Onion OS is it does have that game resume. So I want to test out PS1, and I already loaded up a PS1 game, but didn't really play it. But if I hit this center button, it should take me to the game switcher. So I loaded up Final Fantasy VII, and I can just jump right back into it from the game switcher. So just playing a little cutscene in the beginning of the game. We can go ahead and exit out of that, press it again, and it's going to take us back to the game switcher. That's the only game I have on there right now, because it's the only game I loaded up during this, while I've been messing with this thing. But let's check out a few systems real quick. Things that I think would be excellent on here is going to be like, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo. There's going to be a lot of things that run extremely well on here. Pretty much everything they've included is going to run extremely well on here. But as far as like using the face buttons and everything, I do have the volume all the way up. Volume comes out nicely, I think. I mean, the speaker's down here in the corner, so you could easily accidentally cover it, but it sounds pretty good. So there's a little Game Boy Avenging Spirit with scan lines on. Looks pretty good. So yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I mean, for a little emulation device with some limitations, a cheaper price than a lot of the other stuff that's out there. I think this MechDIY company, they have like a coupon code on the listing for these Miyoo minis. They sell, the one with Onion OS and a few other variants. But let's go ahead and press that center button. It should take us to the game switcher. Yeah, so Avenging Spirit for Game Boy. We could delete it too, like if you don't want that on the game switcher, now that we have multiple games here, or we just press B and back out. Oh, and then you're gonna have stuff like ports. I thought this was pretty cool. So Duke Nukem Collection, Quake, Wolfenstein, you're gonna have like racing games, puzzle games, a variety of stuff, like some homebrew type action here. But let's jump into Duke Nukem. So there's a handful of games. Load up Duke Nukem 3D. Okay, let's try to figure out the controls for a second. Blow that up, go down here. This is running pretty smooth, damn it. Should be a guy over here. Yeah, there he is. Got him. Oh, we got Neo Geo. 138 games, so pretty close to the full set of games. And this is a very impressive screen. I'm trying not to get the glare from the lights around me, but yeah, viewing angles are excellent. Very nice looking screen. The D-pad's kind of small. So are the buttons. It doesn't feel bad though. There we go. Game switch on out of that. Now we got several games in the game switcher. What's in this Miyoo collection? Oh, they got a buttload of games on NES here. It looks like probably ROM hacks, multi-region, stuff like that. But inside just the normal collection here, they got 341 games. Looks like US, European, and Japanese, a mix maybe, but nothing duplicated. So like it'll be a Japanese game that didn't come out in the US, that kind of thing, or a European game that didn't come out in the US. So I'm fine with that, the way they have that set up. It's not too bad. Oh, and they were not afraid to put the Super Mario games on here. Some of these devices that come with builds, like they won't include Super Mario, but they'll include like everything else Nintendo owns, which just seems weird to me. But I thought that was cool. They have the original Super Mario 2, and then they have Super Mario USA, or Super Mario 2, the one that came out over here, Doki Doki Panic type thing. But let's jump into one of these, see what an NES game looks like on here. And the controls, as far as latency goes, everything feels really good. I've been playing my NES a lot lately on a CRT. And I started noticing, a little more sensitivity to latency and lag on certain things. But I think this is acceptable. It plays well, feels fine. Like, I couldn't complain. Okay. Controls are set up fine. Playing good, sounding good, looking good. Nothing to complain about. Definitely, the small form factor is not going to be for everyone. I would use this for a lot of different games. Maybe not fighting games necessarily, but I'm not having too much of an issue doing moves here. It actually feels pretty good. So why not check out a little Virtual Boy? I noticed in this modern section, they have some, new games type of thing. And then like the unreleased, like, I think this is Street Fighter, Hyper Fighting. Let's check that out. I mean, if you don't like red and black, I don't know what to tell you, but let's try this out. Oh my God. This I've never played this before. What are the attacks? Oh, it's the shoulder buttons. That's crap. I've never played this before. I've played plenty of Virtual Boy games in the past, but never this one. That's kind of awkward. Get out of there. I'll delete that. So a lot of these systems, they have hacks and they have a Miyoo collection, modern, probably like new games that have been released, translations. So that's kind of cool. And then their base set of games. So Super Nintendo 363. I can't go through every single thing on this system. So if you press right, I didn't notice this earlier. If there's game information that's been scraped, metadata, it'll show it here. I did not know that. A little Super Nintendo action, some Donkey Kong Country. Looking good. So yeah, this is not going to be the most powerful little handheld out there. It's a very small, pocketable little thing that, you know, has its limitations, but I think it's kind of cool. With Onion OS, you know, all the improvements to emulation, the different options and features you have is pretty sweet. If you already have a Miyoo Mini Plus, I mean, you can add Onion OS yourself. If you're in the market for one of these handhelds and want it pre-set up, then yeah, MechDIY, they got them for you if you want one, you know? Either way, I just wanted to check this out, share it with you guys. But yeah, I really like this little handheld. It's a very popular one. It's pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Bye.